Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It's November 21st, 2025. We're very glad you're with us this morning. Please note this event will be recorded and uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2007, I took over facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started a website called CareerDFW.org, which you'll hear more about in just a little while. In 2012, I launched CareerUSA.org. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon or if you see me in person. And since 2017, I've been a member of the PIT crew, also known as the Practice Interview Team, and you're going to hear more about them in just a few minutes also. Our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. Then we'll go to job leads if we have any recruiters online. Let everybody do their 30-second introductions. Then we'll hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the Practice Interview Team, the Career Tip of the Week, and then our main event about the top of the hour. Well, I like to start the meeting off with good news. Do we have any landings to report? We have no donuts here, so nobody's fessing up to that. Anybody online? All right, we'll move on here. All right, what we'd like for everybody who's online right now to do, please open up the chat window, put in your name, the position you're looking for, give us your email, your LinkedIn address, your phone, the city you're watching from. Give us 2 or 3 companies that we may be able to help you with. And then if you have connections at companies that you could help other people with, let us know where those are. So if you'll start putting those in the chat window, that will be great. And I will put 30 seconds on the clock. All right, if you're still typing, continue typing away. That'd be great. All right, what we want to do now is everybody who's here in the room, come on up, grab the mic. We'll let you do your 30-second introduction so everybody online can also hear what's going on. So come on down.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Rovira. I'm looking for management roles in training and development, maybe a senior instructional designer role. I don't have any target companies, though I am only applying to jobs at companies that are in the northern part of the Metroplex. So Frisco, Plano up there. I have contacts at companies like Ernst & Young, Children's Health, Tenet Health, and again, my name is Jennifer Rovira.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is David Turner. I'm a HR systems analyst. I don't need any contacts this week, and I can help with contacts at PepsiCo. My name is David Turner.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I help companies ring the bell on performance using data analytics solutions. So I'm looking for a director of data analytics products role. So I'm looking for contacts specifically at 7-Eleven, Keurig Dr. Pepper, or Hershey's. I have contacts at Walmart, Circana, and Epsilon. My name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nate White. I'm looking for roles in procurement, supply chain, or strategy, and I have target companies of the Acosta Group, Toyota, and NTT. I have contacts in the energy storage industry and specifically interstate batteries. My name is Nate White.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is David Glasscock. I am a senior sales executive slash business development manager. I don't have any contacts needed this week, but I do have contacts at Dodge Construction Network as well as Cumulus Media. My name is David Glasscock.
Thank you.
My name is Daniel Reisinger. I'm looking for a job in either stainless steel welding or in welding education. Again, my name is Daniel Reisinger.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrea Brown, and I'm an IT Director of Strategic or Application Delivery. If anyone has contacts at Paraveda, they're a consulting company, or Sierra Bank, I have contacts at Parker Hannifin, mostly in their aerospace division. Again, my name is Andrea Brown.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Todd Haney. I'm looking for customer-facing roles in customer success and implementation. I need contacts at Simpson Strong Tie and Motorola Solutions. I have contacts through various independent school districts in the North Texas area, as well as through the Association for Talent Development. I'm on the board of the Dallas chapter. My name is Todd Haney. Here's Paul.
Thank you, Todd. Hello, I'm Paul Hussar. That's H-U-S-A-R. I'm a Director VP of Customer Service and/or Technical Support. Easy Cater and Nerd Wallet are looking for me. If you know someone, please help them find me. I can help with contacts at LG. I'm Paul Hussar.
Thank you.
Brett Cooper, adolescent medicine physician. I can help with contacts at Children's, depending on the role. And I found out right before I came here, I'm moving forward in a medical director position, so they just have to verify I'm actually a board certified doctor. So I will hopefully be bringing donuts for you guys in a couple of weeks. My name is Brett Cooper.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good morning. I'm John Hamer. I'm a senior project engineer and delivery. Most recently was with Verizon, a repeat attendee of this meeting. I don't have any target companies, and I'm a little out of practice of introducing myself. I think most of my contacts at Verizon, which won't help at this point. John Hamer.
Thank you. Anybody else? I guess not. All right. Let's go to everybody who's, let's see here, turn that off. Everybody online, if you will, please raise your hand so that I remember to call you or don't call you on you more than one time. Scott, I'll let you start first.
I was quick on the guns this morning. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning Inventory Management, looking for a supply chain job in central New Jersey or remotely, specializing in inventory control or production planning. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Thank you. Let's see here. Tracy Harris.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Harris. I'm a senior search consultant at Thomas Edwards Group here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Our firm specializes in accounting, finance, HR, and IT recruiting. And my name is Tracy Harris.
And we'll hear from Tracy in a little bit about any job lead she's got. All right, Florence.
Hi, my name is Florence Hogan, and my background is in market research, market intelligence, and competitive intelligence. I was given some leads that I'm currently working on now, so I'm going to. I'm not looking for any companies. I just need to follow up on the leads that have been already given to me. Again, my name is Florence Hogan.
Thank you, Steve Sulkin.
Morning, everybody. I'm Steven Sulkin, and I'm the new Operational Excellence Manager at Old Castle Building Envelope in Grand Prairie. I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott & White as well. I'm Steve Sulkin.
Thank you, Darren Rich. Steve.
Good morning. I'm Darren Rich. I'm a financial analyst and budget manager. I'm looking for contacts at either University of North Texas or City of Dallas, and I can help with contacts at SMU. I'm Darren Rich.
Thank you, Darren. Steve Sulkin, did you land a job?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, back. Come back. Tell us more. We want to know more about the process.
Did I miss the landing announcements? I came a couple minutes late.
Yep, you did.
Okay, well, come back to me. I'll hang on.
All right, we'll get. I tell you what. Well, let me zip through everybody who's online, then we'll come back to you and let you tell us your story. Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Oganu.
Yes, hi. Good morning. My name is Naagu, and I'm looking for a universal design strategy role in logistics and supply chain management, preferably in humanitarian logistics. I do not have any target companies today. However, I do have a target conversational informational chat interest today. Daniel Reisinger, he's in the room, and I sent an email to him. Daniel, if you can kindly respond to me, I'd appreciate that very much, about welding. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nikki.
Good morning. I am Nikki Duncan, an operations specialist looking for remote chief of staff, director of operations type roles in preferably mid-sized companies. I am Nikki Duncan. By the way, congratulations, Steve, and good luck on that last interview, Brett.
Thank you. All right, Kelsey Wise.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelsey Wise. I'm looking for roles in learning and development or communications and events. My target companies this week are still Amplify and Kendra Scott. If you need connections at FedEx office, I can help you there. Again, my name is Kelsey Wise.
Thank you. Amanda.
Hi, good morning. My name is Amanda Boyle, and I am seeking a remote role in product and material regulatory compliance. I am adept at safeguarding multi-million-dollar revenue streams by ensuring adherence to evolving laws and regulations. Possess experience with risk assessments, training, documentation, and tracking of new and changing laws and regulations. I'm Amanda Boyle.
Thank you. Cindy Greenberg.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Cindy Greenberg in Dallas, Texas. I'm seeking leadership roles focused on a mix of strategy, technology, and or healthcare. The roles include roles like director, senior manager, strategy consultant. My targets this week are Healthcare Service Corporation or HCSC, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, USAA, and other healthcare and insurance companies. I've got contacts at National Government Services, Elevance Health, NASCO, HB, and others, and I'm happy to use my contacts to help you advance your job search. Again, my name is Cindy Greenberg. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Anybody else online? I don't see any other hands written. Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Oh, here's another. Rosina, go ahead.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host, and so I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm looking for a position as a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, Senior Recruiter, or Senior Corporate Recruiter. I need contacts at USAA, TIAA, let me be specific, TIAA Frisco, T-Mobile, and HR Catalyst Consulting. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm looking for a Senior Talent Acquisition Business Partner, Senior Recruiter, or Senior Corporate Recruiter. And feel free to take a look at my contacts as we connect. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Sapna.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Sapna Shah. I'm an IT project manager. Majority of my experience has been in telecommunications, but I'm looking to take those skills and transfer to a different industry, specifically in healthcare, government, or education. Some of my target companies right now are Cambium Assessments or GovCIO. And I have contacts at Amdocs and possibly T-Mobile. Again, it's Sapna Shah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else online? Okay, Steve, come back and tell us your good news. Let me back my slides up so you can see what we want to know. Whoop. Here we go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. So my name is Steven Sulkin. I'm the Operational Excellence Manager for Old Castle Building Envelope. My start date is December 1st. I got the job when I met another operational excellence director at South Lake Focus Group. We applied to the same director role. He got the job, I didn't. And when they opened up a position later on, he contacted me directly and said, "Would you like to come work with me?" And I said, "Hell yes." So, the other thing I want you to know about that. So first of all, we have the exact same roles that we were looking at, but we didn't look at it like a competition. We were, trying to support each other through that. So that was important. The other thing that is that the hiring process was extremely fast. I had a screening on Monday. I had a video call with a corporate director on Wednesday. The following Tuesday, I had a panel interview and plant tour, and then that was it. So, and I think I've heard that from others during this season, is that they're gobbling people up pretty quickly. So let's see. Okay, I think I got that. Yeah, that's the advice is when you're meeting people that you think might, you might feel like they're a competition for you, just be open to the fact that you're better together, helping each other out. And that if you look at it, you probably are far more unique than you think you are. Juan has 15 years of defense experience, recent manufacturing experience, and I had, 10 years with Baylor, healthcare experience. My manufacturing was farther back. So when we competed, he obviously got the job. That made sense. And because we didn't see each other as competition, he thought of me and brought me in. So that would be my advice.
Great. Steve, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Steve.
As I tell Landings, hopefully we never see you again.
Oh, no, you will. You will. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Job lead, Tracy. Thank you.
And also my information is in the chat. My contact information is in there.
Okay, thank you. Tracy, what's going on with your firm?
Good morning. Again, still heavy on the contract side. Actually, just this morning, we got a new controller position leading an accounting function in a healthcare organization. It's a confidential search at this time. But we've got some interesting ones on the contract side that we typically don't work on, like a medical payment poster, part-time billing clerks, things of that nature. But we have a manager, senior manager, I think I talked about this one last week, of digital marketing analytics with an interesting organization in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I just received a role a couple days ago. They're calling it an accounting manager. However, it's a blend of HR, payroll, and a small bit of accounting. We also just received a contract role. We got a publicly traded company who's looking for an SEC manager to kind of get them through the final of the year. So that's recent, but feel free to go to thomasedwards.com to see what openings we may have.
Great. Thank you very much. Tracy's information is in the chat window. So if you're interested in any of those jobs, please reach out to her. Thank you for being with us this morning. All right. Time to hear from Walt Glass in the Interview Success Workshop.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. It's a good day today. If it's not a good day, then it's because we didn't make it a good day. So that's our task. Make every day a good day. Well, I want to tell you about the Interview Success Workshop, which is a fundamental skills of selling ourselves in an interview. A lot of the resume is I do. A lot of what we talk about is I do. When the screening occurs in a job, a lot of it is, are you qualified to do the job? But there's two other factors that are very important in getting hired, and that's who you are and how you can help. So the workshop is to help us learn how to sell ourselves using the I am, I do, and I help model. Be great to have you participate. I do it on Tuesdays on Zoom, 9 to 11 o'clock Central Time. Be glad to have you participate. Just send me a note on my LinkedIn page it has my Yahoo email address. Just send me a note to that to say I'd like to register, and I'll get in touch with you and put you in the queue. Now, I do have a queue. I do have several people, waitlisted. I'm probably into January right now. However, some people get a job and they don't tell me until I send them a week advance notice. If they, oh yeah, I found a job. And so there's a cancellation and there's other cancellations. So get on the list. You never know when I might give you a call. The idea about the workshop is it's not a formal interview. It is a workshop. It is a learning experience. And I call it learning without squirming. Okay. Well, are our interviews going round and round as the job search goes up and down? Well, let me get terse. Sign up and rehearse. Everything will get better, not worse. I'm Walt Glass.
Thank you, Walt. All right.
Let me introduce Paul Hussar.
Time to hear from the practice interview team.
Thank you. I'm Paul Hussar, and I'm here to tell you about the practice interview team, the PIT crew. We conduct practice interviews so individuals can practice their interviewing skills and get direct feedback on how to improve. The interviews are conducted with a panel of 3 interviewers. We are always looking for new interviewers, new panelists. So if you've been a hiring manager and if you've had to terminate someone, you qualify to be a panelist. Please see Ron Layton if you're interested in participating. The PIT crew meets right here in this room every Wednesday on the first, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays of the month. On the fourth Wednesday, we meet online, which gives people from other parts of the country the opportunity to participate. Next month, we are going to have a holiday schedule because Christmas Eve lands on a Wednesday. So on December 17th, Wednesday, we'll be here as we are normally. On December 18th, on a Thursday, we'll have an additional online Zoom version of the PIT crew. If you're interested, reach out to Ron Layton or go to the PIT crew group on LinkedIn. Submit a job description, your resume, and the panelists will spend quite some time reviewing that, plus learning about the company so they're properly prepared to conduct a meaningful interview for you. Thank you. I'm Paul Hussar.
Thank you very much. All right, time to hear the career tip of the week. Good morning, Rosina.
Good morning, Jeff again. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. All right, this week's tip of the week. Trying to keep it short and sweet and focused. So with that said, this week's tip of the week is focused on 4 key actions a job seeker can take to accelerate their search. And of course, based on my recent love of Google Gemini, it's produced by Google Gemini. And the prompt that I used is, how can a job seeker find a professional role quickly in a highly competitive job market? So that's a very common challenge. In a highly competitive job market, finding a professional role quickly requires a targeted, proactive, and quality-driven strategy. Here are 4 key actions a job seeker can take to accelerate their search. First, you want to maximize networking and referrals. As we just heard a perfect example by Stephen, networking is going to be the key. Networking is often the fastest path to a job, as many roles are filled before they are officially posted, and that's considered the hidden job market. So first, you want to be a proactive networker. Don't just wait for job postings. Identify companies and roles that you're interested in and connect with people who work there, especially hiring managers or people in your desired department. You want to ask for advice, not a job. When reaching out, focus on informational interviews. Ask contacts for advice, insights on the industry, or who else they recommend speaking to. This is lower pressure and often leads to a referral naturally. You want to leverage all of your ties. Reach out to former colleagues, alumni, friends, family, and even professional association members. Let them know specifically what kind of role that you're looking for. And then get a referral. Employee referrals are one of the top sources of new hires and significantly increase your chances of being interviewed and hired quickly. So again, that's the first thing. It's maximizing your networking and referrals. Second, you want to optimize your application materials for speed. So first, you must pass the applicant tracking system and make strong impressions on a recruiter in seconds. So look at the ATS optimization, which are your keywords. You want to tailor your resume for each application. Use the exact keywords, job titles, and specific skills listed in the job description to ensure the ATS software ranks your resume highly. You want to quantify your achievements. Instead of listing bullets, use action verbs and measurable results, such as numbers, percentages, dollars, all of those things to show your impact. And for example, instead of responsible for managing social media accounts as a line item, use increased social media engagement by 30% over 6 months, leading to a 15% rise in qualified leads. That's a better statement. And then you want to craft a target summary headline. Start your resume with a powerful professional summary or headline that immediately communicates your unique value proposition and aligns perfectly with the job posting. So the third item or third key strategy would be focus and quality over quantity. Mass applying with a generic resume is a slow strategy. A focused quality approach is a faster and more effective one. So first you want to focus your search. Define your ideal role, industry, and even company size. A focused search allows you to tailor your materials more effectively and target your networking efforts. You want to invest time in quality applications. So spend several hours curating each application, including researching the company, refining your resume, and drafting a compelling, personalized cover letter that speaks to the company's specific needs. And then you want to apply fast. So when you find a highly relevant new posting, apply as quickly as possible, especially within the first 24 to 48 hours, as recruiters often review the first batch of applicants and move quickly forward. And then fourth, you want to boost your professional brand. Your online presence should act as an extension of your resume and set you apart. Professional online profiles, such as in LinkedIn, you want to ensure that your LinkedIn profile is 100% complete, uses the same keywords as your resume, and includes a professional headshot. Use it to engage with industry discussions and follow target companies. You want to develop in-demand skills or credentials. So you want to identify in-demand skills or certifications in your field and pursue those. Highlighting these things on your resume can immediately make sure that you are a competitive candidate. And then online portfolios, if applicable, for creative or technical roles, an online portfolio or personal website can immediately showcase your work and expertise and that's better than just a resume. So I hope these tips will provide a targeted approach to finding a professional role in this competitive job market and doing so quickly. So again, this week's tip of the week, 4 key actions a job seeker can take to accelerate their job search. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Rosina, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, we're going to go to Jason's Deli. Come join us, 4801 West Parker Road. It's on the northeast corner of Parker and Preston. So we'll take a head count here at the end to see how many people here are going to join us. If you're going to join us from online, please let me know so we can make sure we save a seat for you. If you want to receive today's materials, you'll get a copy of my presentation. You'll get a copy of the link to the YouTube channel that has this recording. You'll get a copy of Rosina's career tip of the week that she just read. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat. To make sure you do those, for those people in person, make sure you've signed in, you've checked your name off so I know you're here. Or if you're brand new, you filled out the little white slip of paper so I can make sure if it's legible, if I can read it, I will add you to the list. And for everybody who's online, please make sure your email address is in the chat. So if you haven't done anything else, just please give us your email address so I can update the roster for that. All right, here are the people who I'm still missing. They've shown up, but they didn't give us a didn't give us a email address, so I couldn't add them into the roster. So if you're on the list, please give me your information. All right. I'm the main event today. This is sort of weird. I don't like to do this often. I do just for us once a year. So I'm going to talk about two different presentations. One, the history of CareerDFW. This past Monday was the 17th birthday. On 11/17 was the 17th birthday of CareerDFW. So I'm just going to talk about that. So let me get to let me call up a slideshow. And I need to. Here we go. So I'm going to talk about the history of CareerDFW and CareerUSA, how I got it started. A little back, explain a little background about me, how I got involved doing this. We'll talk about the two websites. We're not going to look at the websites. I'm going to encourage you to take some time this weekend if you have a half hour and go investigate both the websites, click on every tab and look what's there. And then we're going to talk about the 4 areas of your job search that I think you need to focus on. And if you have any questions, just throw your hand up and you can ask them anytime. So my background, I've got 20 plus years in light manufacturing. I started out in the videotape business, but for some reason you all got fascinated with those little round shiny things. So we had to close down that business. After that, I worked in the printing press accessory business for sheet fed printing presses. After that, went back to the videotape business. A company wanted me. I was traveling out to Greenville, Texas, 51 miles each way to go run their facility out in Greenville. Did that for 3 years until the boss finally shut the business down because VHS was just disappearing. After that, I went to work for a bathroom remodeling company. I left that company after 90 days because one day Encore came in to shut the power off because the corporate office didn't expand their amount of money they had, and so they forgot to pay the bill. So we're sitting in the office for 24 hours one day until they paid the bill and they came back and turned the power on. So I quit that job after 90 days. It wasn't me. After that, I went to work for a went to work for a curtain company. We made high dollar silk curtains, $1,000, $2,000 for a pair of curtains. They had 30 offices around the United States. They were based in New Orleans. When Hurricane Katrina came, they loaded everything up and they came here. Once the owner of the company sold her house, her other business that she had in New Orleans, she came back in and she took over the company. So I was laid off again. So, I've hired, laid off, hired, laid off, hired, laid off. It's just the way I think today's economy sort of leads. After that, so that was in 2007. My ex-wife and I made a decision that if I didn't land something by Christmas time, I would just stay home and become Mr. Mom. And that's what happened. I stayed home. starting in, end of 2007 on, got the kids where they had to go. We were still married at the time. Got the kids where they had to go, but I didn't, after I dropped the kids off, I didn't go home, watch Oprah and then eat bonbons. I was going to networking meetings on a daily basis. Mondays, I would go to the Carrollton group. Tuesday, the DFW sales group. I couldn't think what I did on Wednesdays. I forget. And then Fridays, this meeting. So I went to a lot of different meetings that were going on around the city. And one of the things I noticed, well, one of the things that sort of happened, I took this group over in 2007, like I mentioned before. The prior leader landed a job. He was a project manager. 90 days later, he came back because he fixed the problem the company had and they didn't need him anymore. So he got laid off 90 days later, which I feel sorry for, but I guess that's what happened when you get hired to fix a problem. So I've been doing this group for 18 years now. One of the things I noticed when I was leading this group is we were a spinoff of Career Connections. For those people who've been around for a long time, Connections met down at Preston and Northwest Highway, or Preston and Arapahoe at Prestonwood Baptist Church. And they had on Tuesday mornings, 300 people, 400 people would show up to a networking meeting. Lisa Miller ran the group, and this was right when all the telecom businesses were busting in Richardson, and it was just, the place was full. Well, we were one of the spinoff. This group is one of the spinoff groups from Career Connections. They had about 15 or 18 different groups. They'd have subgroups, project managers, accounting people, secretarial administrative people. Then they had some location groups like the North Dallas group, the South Lake Focus Group, the Carrollton group. And so we were one of the subgroups. She hired a new administrative assistant one day, and that person said, "Oh, you know how you had to pay $10 a month to be part of her organization." And she said, "You know how we can make more money for the big group?" And the answer she came up with, "We'll take over all the Yahoo groups because all these little subgroups had their own Yahoo groups. Like we used to have a Yahoo group until Yahoo went away, until that part went away. If we take them over, then we can just kick out anybody who's not paying." And I said, "Well, you're not going to do that to this group because we're not meeting at your church. We're meeting here at CUMC. And if any of their members want to come, you're invited." So five of the groups or subgroups said no. The Carrollton group, the sales group with Dennis O'Hagan, the South Lake Focus Group, this group, and I forget who the fifth one was, and said no. So we all broke away from Career Connections. Well, I was worried nobody's going to show up in 8 weeks. Will anybody continue to come here? Well, that's been disproven because you're here now 18 years later, you're still showing up. And I thought, we need something to promote our 5 groups that have disappeared. So I started searching the internet. How do you buy a website name? And it led me to it. And I started typing in names and typed in CareerDFW, and it was available. And I went, bingo, that's what I'm going to buy. So I bought the name CareerDFW. I had no idea how to build one. So every networking meeting that I would go to, I would say after my 30-second introductions, "And if you know how to build a website, I need your help." Well, some guy from the DFW sales group on Tuesday morning said, "I can help you." So what you see today is what that person helped me start 17 years ago. So November 17th, this past Monday, we officially launched the site. I spent probably 2 months building it. most of the time when you build a website, you build it in private so people can't see it. Well, I didn't know how to do that. So everything I built, it was just live online. And till this day, as I change something, it's live online. I only do one thing at a time, and I go back and see if it broke the website. If it did, I know what to undo. So I don't have a technical background to know about this. These were just things I've learned about. So CareerDFW became a nonprofit corporation. I thought it was really important that everybody know that we're following all the rules and regulations from the IRS. If anybody want to make a donation, it's fully tax deductible. One of the other reasons I did it is Career Connections, which should have been a 501c3, was turned down 3 times by the IRS for whatever they put in their filings. But I went to the Center for Nonprofit Management, took 2 classes there on how to do it. It's a 32-page application. The information book that comes with the application is 107 pages long. And I'm sort of lucky I got it on the first try. So I only had one question I wasn't sure how to answer, and I got hold of the instructor and he told me what to do. So I got lucky. It's not often when you go to your mailbox and you're excited about seeing a letter from the IRS, but I remember that date, October. I remembered it was a nice thick envelope, from the IRS, and I'm going, well, I think my taxes were okay, but so I filed, and so we are a 501c3 if anybody ever wants to make donations. Also this would have been 2012, it's 2011, 2012. I started putting together a book because I was, every Friday I'm here. We bring 3 speakers in a month. I was hearing all this great stuff and I had too much stuff going on in my brain and I had to unload some. So I just went home and started knocking out little short stories, 1, 2, 3 pages on here's a tip. Here's a tip. I think there's like 84 or 87 tips in this book. They're all short tips, easy reading, and I just threw it out there. It's sort of interesting. So if I've got it on Amazon for 15 bucks, if you want to buy it from me, it's 10 bucks. All the proceeds go to the CareerDFW. And if you buy it from me for 10 bucks, more proceeds go to CareerDFW that way than if you buy it from Amazon, because Amazon takes a bigger part, that 5 bucks plus more of that 10 bucks than what I've can get. So if anybody's interested in the book, luckily my sister boy at the beginning bought 10 of them and gave them to all her sons' college graduates who are all graduating. That was a gift that she gave everybody for graduation. All right, September 20th, 2012, I was very lucky to be invited to go to the White House Forum on Job Clubs and Career Ministries. It is on the White House complex. We weren't in the White House. We were in the executive office building. It's right next door where a lot of big shots were located. You walk by his vice president's office and other things walking around. There were 110 people from all over the United States there. I was the only representative from the state of Texas. I was lucky somebody from the Department of Labor was putting together a website of all the career groups in the United States. They estimate there's between 5,000 and 7,000 career groups around the United States. And so they were out searching. Somehow they found the church over on Central Expressway and called them, and they said, oh, you need to call Jeff because he knows everything that's going on in Dallas. So they got hold of me. They found out, so that's when they got the website. They sucked everything up off the CareerFW website onto their website, which I then told them, you need to do one thing, go back and you need to put down for every group as of the date they sucked it off, because things change. I'm constantly changing the groups that are on the website. So I made them put that back on there. But they invited me to come to the White House. It was great. The Secretary of the Department of Labor was there, the 110 people. These were people like me who are helping people all over the United States. It was limited to 110 people because that's all the people they could put in the room. When the panel who was behind the table at the head of the room got up, 6 people had to go sit in their seats, and they sat in their seats. I mean, it was, there was no extra room, but it was a great day. They had some training sessions in the afternoon, and it was really nice to be there. It was really interesting. If you go to the executive office building, if you go into the White House, they give you a little name tag to wear, and it's a little bit like a toll tag. Apparently, they've got in some room, they have a little map, and they can follow you around the building to know exactly where you are at all times. So they give you a little tag to wear. After coming back from this meeting at the White House, one of the things I learned is nobody else was doing a website like CareerDFW in the country. All these organizations that presented had their own little website for their little church group or their Texas Workforce Commission office. Nobody was thinking, how can we help a whole community? So because of that, in 2012, in October, I had to rebuild the CareerDFW website it was going through security updates. So I decided at that point to just split the website up. I'd already owned the careerusa.org name, but I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I now knew what to do with it after going to the White House to make it generic. So all the generic stuff is on the careerusa.org website. Everything is specific to the Dallas-Fort Worth area is on CareerDFW, and the links go back and forth. So you may click on one of the tabs on the very top, and it'll launch the other website depending on what you're looking for. Because I wasn't going to do the same thing on both websites. Getting it on one website was enough for me. So how do we survive? We survive by volunteers like you. You're the eyes and ears of the website. I am not all knowing and all seeing. I have not won any lotteries. If you see something and you don't see it on the website, please let me know about it. If you see a job fair coming up, if you know of another career group and you don't see them listed, please let me know about it because I want to add them. I want to share as much information as I can. I'm sure you've all worked for bosses, and some bosses just sit in a corner and say, "Don't bother me. You do your job. I'm doing my job." I'm the kind of boss, I want to share everything that's going on. I make people in manufacturing go work in customer service. I make customer service people go work in manufacturing so they can see everybody else's role, because I want you to know what's going on. I want to share all this information. So if you know something, see something, please let me know so I can add it. It was interesting when I started, and I didn't mention this before, when I started the website in 2008, I went to Jewish Family Services because they have a career placement office. And I asked them, I didn't know if we maybe would partner up. That was what I was sort of asking, but I didn't come out and say, do you want to partner? And they said, well, here, I like what you're doing. I like the idea. Here, let me give you the most current list of networking groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So this is the summer of 2008. The date on that list was January 1st, 2006. It was 2.5 years old. So I knew that's what I had to focus on first as I built the website, find out what groups exist, and then add them onto the website. So that was the important part of why I started the whole thing. We have no employees, none. No full-time, no part-time. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 17 years has just been to help you land your next great opportunity. So I don't take dime out of the organization. I paid the first couple $1,000 to get us going back in 2008. But since then, donations have kept up to keep the website's names going. And it's interesting, I don't have just Career DFW. I got an email once, check out Careers DFW. So I went, oh, I go by that name. And then somebody else, I saw another email. Yeah, be sure to check DFW Careers. I had to go buy another website name. So I've got a lot of variations to Career DFW that if you mistype it, hopefully it'll get you back into the Career DFW website. I've tried to buy careerusa.com, but the guy won't sell it. But there's nothing on the website, but he won't give it up. I've sent him registered letters to try to get it, and he won't do it. So there's that. How do we survive? We saw donations. It pays for the business cards for us and the PIC crew. I pay for those cards. All the web hosting, the names file, any of the state and federal filings I have to do. You can donate via PayPal on the website. This past week, I got a check in the mail, and this is the first time I had a check in the mail this year for somebody making a donation. And the check came from somebody from Rhode Island. And it's just like, wow. Apparently he has been to one of these meetings here online, but it was very nice. And he didn't put a return email address, so I didn't know who it really was. So I just went on LinkedIn and searched his name. And I said, if you're the Paul who sent a check, thank you very much. He replied back, yes, I'm the one. So, it was just, I had no idea. So, and once again, if you buy the book, all the proceeds from the book go to Career DFW also. I started a LinkedIn group because LinkedIn at the time was new back in 2008. Currently, we've got over 16,000 members in the Career DFW group. I also started a CareerUSA.org LinkedIn group in 2012. It's only a few thousand people. It's not quite as big. You can join both. If you're going to join the group, I will look at your profile. If your profile is mostly complete, I'm not going to allow you to join, because why are you on LinkedIn if your profile is not mostly complete? It's real important because you want to be found. I mean, that's the important thing. So do that. We also started a YouTube channel when COVID hit. Everybody stopped coming to meetings. We couldn't come to meetings. I had a Zoom account, so I think we only missed 2 weeks in this group back in 2020 when COVID hit. We just picked up and just started meeting on Zoom. And I'll talk about how we were actually doing Zoom meetings 5 days a week at one point. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. So we do have a YouTube channel. There's when I looked yesterday, 716 videos that have been posted in the last 5 years. So every speaker in this group in the last 5 years who's allowed us to post their video is up online. So there's a lot of great history. The one presentation I miss, and I really wish we had gotten, was Dennis O'Hagan before he passed away, because he did a great presentation on informational interviewing. Walt's done it a couple times for us, for his newest version, but Dennis's version, I just didn't get it quite in time. He passed away like 2 months before we started recording these sessions. So I do want to thank, many of you know I was not around in 2024. I don't know. I just want to thank Matt and Walt and Patricia for keeping things going. It was just 2024 was a tough year for me. So I want to thank them very much. Like I said, normally at this point I would go and pop up the 2 websites, but I want you just to take your time, go through it, and take a half hour this weekend, go search when you have your time. So that is that part of the presentation. Let me get rid of that. And let me get this other one up here. Oop, oh, tab. Any questions just about CareerDFW or the websites, or any questions about that? Yes. Ah. I do wonder why I had to come up with it. Why didn't Texas Workforce Commission or the Senior Source or Jewish Family Service think about something to help people a little bit better, and more, but it's like, I don't know. It was just interesting. So, yes. One of the things that I did not want to do when I started CareerDFW is attach myself to each of the individual groups. So CareerDFW is a separate nonprofit. I don't know if Southlake's a nonprofit or not. I don't know if they've set themselves up. This group itself is not, we're not the North Dallas group of CareerDFW. Some people talk to me and said, hey, you ought to do that. And, all these groups make it like Career Connections. And I said, I don't want to manage all that kind of stuff because, there's no money. Everybody here is unemployed. You don't have extra dollars to donate and give up right now. That's why I always say, when you get your next opportunity and when you get your next job, consider making a donation. It was funny. I got a donation several years ago from a lady who sent a note in saying, I'm about to be laid off. I just want to let you know I should have given you this when I landed, but here's a donation now while I'm still getting a paycheck. So I thought that was interesting. Yes. Okay, so you can go back. What Walt was just saying is, if you go back and look at the videos from last year, when CareerDFW turned 16, you can go back and see my explanation of all the different pages that are out there. If we have time here, if we get done in time, we can go and zip over and take a look at that after this other presentation. But all that information's out there. It's on the YouTube channel. You can go and watch any of those videos. If the websites look different, it's because they went from version 3 to version 4. Version 4 is now obsolete, and I've got to switch over to version 5 or jump to version 6. And I'm waiting for a computer expert to say when we can get together so we can do that. So it may be in next week or so, I may be switching over to a new version. It's not supposed to change anything from what I've read, but you never know when you upgrade a website for a major update. Yes.
I think this operation, what everybody does here is it's really incredibly valuable to the job seeker community.
Surprise what you just said. So the whole.
Repeat what you just said.
So Okay. My name's David Glasscock. I was just saying that the infrastructure of this group is so great for the job seeker community to have reinforcement to learn things that they don't know and really things that you don't know what you don't know in this in job search and I think to myself I'm really glad that this exists now. Um, I mean, clearly it's existed for a while, but I didn't know about it until now. And this has made my job search much easier than previous situations where I was just, sitting, applying for things on LinkedIn and other job sites and just hoping for the best, right? Or talking to friends here and there, but not like the active pursuit of improving myself and other people improving each other and really kind of an iron sharpening iron kind of situation. And I think it's incredibly valuable for people. Anybody I know that's unemployed moving forward, this will be my first recommendation is to come to the website for one, to get plugged in with the content, and then to get plugged in with one of the groups, this one or South Lake or wherever, depending on where they are. But I just think it's incredibly valuable. And I'm personally am extremely appreciative for this existing and everybody making the effort to continue it going and all. I'm extremely impressed and about the whole operation really. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I think one thing I've learned over the years is we're very lucky here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to have what we have here. From what I can tell, for the other cities that were at the White House and is finding out what's going on in their city, they don't have this. From what I can tell from a national standpoint, there really is Chicago's got one main guy who's sort of like me, but you got to have to pay to go to all their meetings. There's a group out in Phoenix I've heard about that's supposed to be pretty good, but most cities only have a couple groups. San Antonio has one networking group that meets once a month, as far as I can tell. We had a person from this group land a job in San Antonio. He wanted to go hire people, said, who do you know, what groups are down here? Because I want to reach out to them because you helped me. I want to help them. And I said, I only know this one networking group that I found on LinkedIn years ago. So we're very lucky in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to have something as extensive as this. Somebody else have the mic?
This is Florence Online.
Yes.
I have a couple of questions for you. You mentioned that you can make donations on donations. Are they, what forms of donations can we make? Can we do online donations? And does it like generate an automatic receipt when you do an online donation?
I haven't used PayPal. I've used PayPal. You can use PayPal to make a donation or you can send a check. If you look on the websites, you'll see a PayPal logo, PayPal or a little envelope. You can click on one of those two and it'll give you the information if you want to mail a check or if you want to use PayPal.
Okay, so it's either one of those two. And then also you mentioned that you have your career networking site on LinkedIn. One of the things that I've been really struggling with, and I don't know why I am, but I've tried to verify myself with my license, my driver's license, and it's given me a hard time. I don't know whether I'm using I have a Samsung, so I don't have an iPhone, and it hasn't been able to go through to where I've been able to get verified. Will that restrict me from I'm working on it. Will that restrict me from being accepted if I don't have that verification? Because it is something that I'm working on, but I'm just struggling on getting, I've even contacted, I've contacted LinkedIn, there's technical support and Clear, and they're not really good help because all they do is give you the basic instructions. And I don't know whether there's someone, I've even contacted someone, gave me a name to contact someone, and I've really struggled with that, with getting that set up. But if there's anyone who's like super fantastic with LinkedIn, who would be willing to help me, walk me through, I would greatly appreciate that help.
Okay. I don't know, not verified doesn't reject you from being part of the LinkedIn groups. I don't use that as a gauge because that didn't exist when I started when I started the LinkedIn group. I mean, I started LinkedIn back in 2004, and that verification only came out a couple years ago. So
Hey, this is Nikki Duncan.
Yeah.
Florence, I can probably help you with that.
Nikki, if you could help me with that, I would be so grateful.
I
just
had
been
issues when
headed
I did mine and I finally figured it out. So I can probably help you get through it.
Okay, we'll get together. We've got a call, so we'll talk about it then.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. You're awesome. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much.
Okay. And
Hi, this is Miguel Castillo. I just want to go back to the comment that was made here in the room on how appreciative we're all with all the work that you have done over the years. Really very humble when you're talking about all the work you've done and all the hours that you have spent helping people in the DFW area as well as in the U.S. Honestly, I do think that whenever anyone becomes unemployed, they're starting their job search, the best one single comment and advice to give is to get into DFW careers, and find out all the different networking events, and then they can choose like what fits their needs, what they like, what's more effective for them. So it's just great. I think that your job, and I just thank you for that, and obviously Walt and all the people, Matt Kill and others that have been helping in the last few months. I guess a question, how automated do you have all this information? Because you were saying that we need to let you know if we see something that is missing, and a different group that is networking to help job searchers. But when do all these groups that are in the calendar, which is like the best tool that there's many things, but the calendar and the two views you have there are just great. Do they let you know when they have different changes in their schedules, et cetera, to make the changes in your? I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is just a lot of work that you or someone is doing.
When a group starts, I tend to hear about it. When the group disappears, I don't hear about it until I get a comment. I keep getting phone calls for this group. This group hadn't been around for 3 years. Will you take us off your website? So that's sort of, you don't hear about things when they disappear. If they change, I had a couple updates I had to do a couple weeks ago. Somebody changed the website address that they were giving out. But I hear about it if they want to get on the website. I don't tend to hear about it if they don't. So that's why I always recommend, before you go to the group, call and make sure they still exist, because they never tell you when they disappear.
So, well, thank you again, Jeff.
Okay.
Just to build on the comments, been in transition for a little while, so I've kind of tapped into different groups, and definitely what we have here in Dallas is unique. I think Dallas as a community in terms of networking is unbelievable, but within Dallas, I think what you've done, Jeff, stands apart as far as kind of across the board networking forum, and you don't do it to monetize your services. A lot of the groups, they'll have you have to join a subscription and be part of a membership or something along that, and you just do it as a servant leader. And so it's really unique, and you should be very proud. So
thank you. I mean, I've had people say, well, you've got to be able to monetize this somehow. And I go, how? How do I ask unemployed people for money? I'm not going to do that. That's just not going to happen. And they go, oh, okay. And they think about it, and they never come up with a solution. So it's like, okay, so I also challenge everybody who's here and is online that when you retire, the first 3 to 6 months is a lot of fun, but what are you going to do after that? I've got something that keeps me busy. Before I was sick in 2024, I was going pretty much 7 days a week doing stuff for the website and for CareerDFW and all the networking meetings and stuff I was doing. So, you got to think about if you're going to think about retiring, what are you going to do when you retire? I have something to keep me busy for a while. So that's that. All right, let me share this thing here, the 4 areas of job search you need to focus on. Somebody. Oh, Kathy, you got your hand up.
I do. Jeff, I've been hanging around Lisa's group. I started at Lisa's group in 2002. And every time my contract ends, I come back and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate that you are the one person who has been around since I started their group. The leader of every other group has changed, but not Jeff. Jeff stays and continues to give all he's got to help us. And I just appreciate that so much. I also thank you for bringing up Lisa's name and Dennis's name. And it's like, wow, blast from the past. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for everything you do.
You know, I think we really have to thank Lisa Miller because of Career Connections and all of her subgroups, that's what got the Dallas-Fort Worth area helping job seekers more than anybody. And I also will say, because of Lisa Miller being who she was, so many groups split off of Lisa to start their own thing because of how Lisa reached out to people, her shortgomings.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. Yes.
Yes, you know, anybody who's known Lisa knows that.
Jeff, I know you want to move away from the accolades, but not so fast. I was at a Veterans in Technology meeting this week, and that group is also a 501c3 oriented to helping veterans coming out of service into technology roles. So they do a lot of similar counseling. When I mentioned CareerDFW.org, the accolades were phenomenal. About 5% of the people there were counselors. Everyone else was looking, and everyone was just so appreciative of what you've done. So I wanted to pass that on to you directly.
Okay, thank you very much. One more over here.
And I guess what I will add to this too, especially since we have a contingent of folks online, is that Steve Salkin got me connected to doing the Never Search Alone job process. And it's been interesting in my networking group. I think to your point, Jeff, that our accountability group, one person's in Minneapolis and one person is in Austin that they matched with. And in my prior group that ended up getting disbanded, they were a lot on the East Coast and we could find nothing for them to go to locally. So I think I would say the fact that if you pay for the Zoom account out of the CareerDFW to be able to last more than 40 minutes, and Southlake doing their stuff on Zoom as well, I think in an era of remote work has been a tremendous asset to people across the country who don't have the resources we have here. So I highly encourage folks to share those because I think we are blessed to have this in person, but also on Zoom for those who are not so fortunate across the country.
Right. I'll share this. Years ago, pre-COVID, one of the things I wanted to do, and I never did anything with it. Well, I didn't because financially couldn't come up with the money, was I wanted to come up with TV equipment so that we could go to a networking meeting every day of the week. Because here in Dallas, there's a group that meets every day. And so Monday, you would be watching the Carrollton group, and they would just keep repeating on the Career USA website until the next day when Dennis's meeting, the DFW sales group would meet. And then his meeting would repeat until Wednesday's group and then until Thursday's group. And then on Fridays, this group would pop up and it'd be up through the weekend until Carrollton would pick up on Monday. So, you know, I investigated cameras, switchers, all the equipment we would need to be able to broadcast that. And you know, it was like running like $40,000, and it was just like, all right, how do I try to come up with that? And, you know, because once again, just like you said, people around the country can't see this. And the old joke I used to say is, if you lived in Minot, North Dakota, and it's 40 below zero, and you don't want to you don't want to get out of your pajamas for the day, you could just go online and you could see a networking meeting that hopefully would try to help you. So, but then COVID changed everything, I mean, changed everything for everybody. So, yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about YouTube and COVID, or things COVID did. I wanted to talk about the 4 areas of your job search you focus on. And I really think it needs to be 5 areas now that been thinking about it, but I haven't redone this, because the 5th area, I'm going to mention this first, is you got to decide what you want to do. I've heard people come in here and say, well, I can do this and this and this and this. And you can be a master of everything. You can, be really good at everything, but you're not a master of one thing. And I think you've got to decide in your job search, what is it you really want to do, and focus in on that one area. I think that makes just a big, big difference. So the 4 areas that I talk about is your resume. I think it's the first thing you've got to get done. Then you get on LinkedIn. So you take your resume information, you get it on LinkedIn so people can find out who you are. Then you start practicing your interviewing skills, because if somebody calls you up and you can't talk the talk, you've blown it at that point. And I've seen that happen with people who have been interviewed. When I've done interviews, I look at somebody's resume and go, this is a perfect fit for the job they're applying to. But when they came in for the interview, practice interview, they just blew it. It was just bad. Well, we gave them feedback and they came back a month later and she was right on tack. I mean, right on the money. So it makes a big difference. And then the 4th area is getting out and networking, but you can't be networking if you don't have a resume and you're not on LinkedIn yet. So these are the 4 things I think you need to focus on. So what I'm going to talk about today is just the tip of the iceberg. I love this picture because, I've been doing this 18 years now, and all the knowledge from all the different speakers that I've heard are just things I'm going to be repeating and talking about it, because I didn't come up with any of this. I'm just sort of repeating what I've heard. So let's talk about resumes first. And I've seen this happen in this group. I remember there was a lady who had analysis paralysis. And I asked her, how's your job search going? Because she'd been coming here for like 6 months. And she said, well, I just can't get my resume right. I just keep working on it and it's just not right. And that's why she hadn't applied for anything. That's why she had to do it. She was stuck on, how do I get what I've done in writing? So I think that was a real problem. So my first question is, everybody should have a master resume, a resume that's 10, 15, 20 pages long, depending how long you've been working, that has everything you've ever done, has all the tasks you've ever had, all the projects you've worked on, who your boss was, addresses, phone numbers, that everything that you would ever want to know about your job search is in one document. Because when you have that master resume, when you see a job description, all you have to do is start deleting everything that they're asking about. When you see a job application and you have your resume, you don't want to tell them any more than what's in the job description, because they don't care about the other stuff. You've all done a lot of really great things, but you just want to tell them what they want to know. You have to remember that your resume is just a hook. It's just a hook to do what? It's just a hook to get a telephone call. So, it's the same thing with LinkedIn. It's only a hook to try to get them to call you. You've got to customize every resume you send out. Some people say you can have a generic resume, or you can just change that summary statement at the very top. I don't believe that. I think you've got to spend some time to go through the resume and make sure that you're just telling them what they want to know, because you want it to match. You want the ATS system to match. You want your information. If it's A recruiter, I'm going to say most recruiters are probably young people who are in their 20s who just got out of college as their first job in the HR department. You know, they haven't been doing this for 20 years. They can read between the lines. So you've got to make it really simple for them. And you've got to get, like I said, keep to the details of the job description. You've got to make it match because that's how you're going to make your connection. Every bullet point you put on your resume has to have a result. So you've got to have dollar signs, percentages, pounds. Nobody's going to check these on your resume. They're going to call up the prior company and say, yeah, Jane's here and she's telling me that she saved $4 million by XYZ. That'll never happen. Okay. But what you do need to do is you have to have a story that quantifies one of these things, whatever it is. If you saved money. If you tell somebody you've saved money, how did you save money? And how did you come up with that? Was that something that a company kept track of, or did you keep track of it personally? Whatever. Just be able to answer those questions. Do not blindly send out resumes. I think that's it's just a horrible mistake because when you just send out a generic resume, you don't know what the other person wants. I know a person who once told me, I never send a resume out until I've had a phone conversation, finding out what they're looking for. So even though they see a job description, they wait until they get a phone call or they can have a phone call with the person to find out exactly what they're looking for. So if you do send out a resume from a job description and you get a phone call and you can maybe narrow it down more, you may want to send a revised resume because maybe something came up in that conversation you had that wasn't in your first resume, but it's stuff you've done in the past. So it may be something to consider. Do not post a resume on LinkedIn. LinkedIn already has your generic resume, okay? But you do want to make sure that all the dates and job titles match. Very, very important because a recruiter will go back, they'll check, if they have your resume, they're going to look on LinkedIn, they're going to look on Facebook and Instagram to see where they can find you. And you've got to make sure they're going to check, recruiters will check those dates to make sure it's the same on both documents. I highly recommend everybody should have a one-page bio. I think this is a best networking tool that you can have because a one-page bio is a high-level document that tells people what you do and how you can help, but you don't get into the details of a job description going, hire me, help me, I need a job. A one-page bio you can use at job fairs, networking events, and it's probably a great document to send out if you're trying to work your way into a company. Just send the bio, don't attach a resume. Like I said, because it's not going to be customized. Here's a book I highly recommend. This is from Minna Brown, and Paula Asanoff is also the partner who wrote this book called Be Sharp. I know Paul has a copy of it. In fact, he had Paula sign it last week when she was here. You want to get the second edition. The first half of the book tells you how to tell somebody who you are, what your opening statement is, and then, or what your 30-second introduction is. The second half of the book, the revised second edition, has like 30 bios in it that you can sample and see how they did it. I just think it's a great document. This is Minna's bio on the right-hand side. Bio does have a picture, a resume does not. And you can format it and make it look as pretty or different as you want, but you're not screaming out. When she sends this out, she's not screaming, hire me, hire me. She's just telling people who she is. Resumes in the ATS system. Do not use any special characters or special formatting. You don't have to put the little telephone by your telephone name. You don't have to put a little house by your house. Most of us can figure out those things. If we can't figure it out, you probably don't want us calling you anyway. Okay. So no special characters. The only character I think you can safely get by with is a little dot that you see on generic resumes. That's all I would ever use on a resume. You don't use the header or the footer. Most ATS systems can't see that information. So if you put, I've heard recruiters say, yeah, I got this great resume, but no contact information because the person had it in their header. The ATS system couldn't suck in the header information. So there's no detail of who this person is. Be sure to align the keywords to the job description. Take the job description, ask AI, what are the keywords in this job description, and make sure they are all in your resume, if you can, multiple times. Have them show up on multiple jobs. I've heard that you want your keywords to show up 3 to 5 times to really emphasize that you know what that is. Focus on results and accomplishments. Yeah, if you have to come grab the mic if you want to ask a question.
Quick question on the keywords. Is it better to go broad, cover as many keywords, or the critical ones multiple times?
I would think the key ones would be what you'd want to have. If you saw the presentation that, who's the guy from Houston? Rick Gillis has a presentation, and his resume, he uses a 3-page resume. So the normal first and second page is his normal second and third page. And his first page has the summary information that most recruiters would want to see. And at the bottom of the first page, he lists 40 keywords. And, if people go and say, well, you're hooking, playing the system, he goes, no, I just do that so it's easy so you'll find my resume. He didn't copy the job description in there, but he copies all the keywords. So it's an interesting presentation. If you haven't seen it, you can go back and watch Rick Gillis. I think I just like the way he formats his resume. All right. Focus on results and accomplishments. Every bullet point has to have a story. Because those are going to be your stories that you're going to talk about in an interview. And so I like the game that they came up with called So What? Read your bullet point and then say, so what? And if there's no what, you need to come up with a what. You've got to define it so that the results sell. Star stories, or raw, either do a star story or you can tell it in the raw format. Raw format is results, actions, and then what happened, what you had to do. I like to start any bullet point with an action verb. Get them excited, just, how can you spice your resume up to be a little bit better?
Hey, Jeff, one thing I've heard on the bullets is with the action verb, put your result at the beginning of the bullet as opposed to the end, just because people read left to right. So they'll see the metric, the dollar, the impact first, which is going to get their attention more than I managed a project or product or delivery or whatever.
Right. If you happen to watch Rick Gillis's presentation, his thing is he wants you to tell in every bullet point, what did you do resulting in, using the words resulting in, and then tell the result. So he says that's his standard format, but I like the other format of, telling the result first and then telling how you did that afterward. The important thing is get the results in there because that's what's going to sell you the job. I'm looking if I'm going to hire somebody, I need to hire somebody who can increase sales, who can manufacture product, who can do this or that better. And if you don't have those results in there, it makes it difficult.
Now, this is Walt. Just a tip. We've mentioned these different videos that are out there. If you go to the Career USA YouTube channel and you start highlighting and dragging all the way down, depending on the AI you use on how many characters is allowed in a prompt, you can go in and say, take the following information and give me date and title and put it in an Excel spreadsheet. And then you copy and paste all that information and you'll get a whole list of all the presentations and the dates. That will help you search and find things instead of having to drag through.
So here's a screenshot of the Career USA YouTube channel. And I put the red box around about the effect of resumes. So in this presentation, there's 116 videos just about resumes that have been talked about over the years. A lot of great outside speakers and a lot of stuff we've done, sort of talk all about the same thing. But just one playlist, every video I post goes into a playlist. And so the effective resume has 116 videos in it as of this week when I looked. So there's a lot of information you can go back and watch. All right, the second section I want to talk about is LinkedIn. So you got your resumes done. What are you going to do? You're going to pull most of that information into LinkedIn, I think. And some people say, let me back up. There's no right or wrong what you're going to do in your job search. If you're getting phone calls, you're doing something right. If you're not getting phone calls, you may need to change something. Okay, that sort of should be your answer. So if you're not getting results from LinkedIn, it's the same kind of thing. This is several months old. LinkedIn has over 1 billion users now. It used to only be 800,000. Yes. Question? As the mic flies across the room.
I don't know how good my catching skills are. I was just going to add something for the resume piece, because one of the things I struggled with as somebody who was in a primarily academic teaching background in making this career transition is utilize people at Southlake or various groups, because I was able to find someone to help me come up with metrics that are not dollars, percentages, because I didn't have any dollar percentage things. I just helped students and residents. So utilize people that can help you, or AI, come up with metrics that are still metrics, but not dollars and percentages necessarily.
Yeah, I think I've heard somebody say you can take your resume and throw it up into AI and say, tell me the metrics it sees, and it will help you do that. AI is wonderful and tells you all sorts of stuff you never knew you needed to know. All right, so LinkedIn, now over 1 billion users. There's over 180 million users in the United States. That's half the population. 1 out of 2 people are on LinkedIn in the United States. 77 job apps are submitted every second. 10 million people use the open work symbol. You want to use the open to work symbol. 45 million people use LinkedIn to search for jobs every week. 4 people get hired every minute on LinkedIn. There is 57 million companies listed, and 120,000 schools are listed. So from a school standpoint, you should be using the school resource for alumni, and check the alumni list and then put in, do any of those alumni work at the place you want to work at? Or any alumni do what I do, and I want to connect with them because maybe we can help each other out in the future. So you want to have a LinkedIn profile that's current and fully developed. Spend the time. I mean, you've spent a few hours on your resume, you've got that master done. You want to spend a couple hours on LinkedIn and get it as developed as you can, fill things out. I mean, I love last week's presentation, and Paul had talked about what do you do with those projects. LinkedIn came up with a whole another area on LinkedIn that you can just put projects, and you've got over 2,000 characters. You can talk about a project. Another great way to get your keywords in and explain to people what you've done. Does your profile tell a company how you can help them? And that's the important thing. In this whole job search, it's not what a company can do for you, is what can you do to help a company? They have a problem. They're trying to solve a problem. You're a problem solver. And it's probably good even to say that in an interview. You know, I help companies solve the following problems. I can do this, I can do this, I can do that. So how are you telling a company that you can help them? In your about section, it's all about, you know, how can I help your company succeed? Please reach out to me. Can somebody reach out to you easily? You know, you saw that list of people who I couldn't find. Half of those people gave me their LinkedIn address. The problem is I go look on their LinkedIn address, there's no contact information. If I'm not a first reconnection with you, I cannot see your contact information. That's why it's very, very, very extremely, very, very extremely important that you put your contact information in your about section so that anybody can see you.
Just had somebody yesterday tell me to take my phone number off of my LinkedIn profile.
If you're looking for a job, I want, you know, the question is, I would put on there. I mean, you know, if you don't want to put don't want to put your phone number on the LinkedIn, get a Google Voice number and have Google Voice just roll over to your cell phone. But a recruiter has a very short attention span. If they find you, the first thing they want to do is just pick up the phone and call you and see if you're interested. The second thing they'll do is they'll send you an email, and the last thing they want to do is to use LinkedIn InMail, because 9 to 10% of people will respond to LinkedIn InMail if you even have that set up to come to your email account. So make it easy. Give somebody your phone and email address. You'll see here, I put my phone and email address in my banner. Walt's got it in his banner. So if you want to reach out to, I don't get a lot of junk phone calls. I really don't get a lot. I mean, I don't answer a phone on my cell phone if it says unknown subscriber. I won't answer it. Let them leave a voicemail. I'll call you right back. But I put it on there. And don't use a generic banner that comes with LinkedIn. Create yourself a banner. You can go to canva.com, CANVA.com, and create a LinkedIn banner telling me what you do. Make it interesting. Make me want to reach out to you because what's on your banner.
Ask AI to help you with that banner.
Yep, you can ask AI. You can also go to Google, just go to Google and type in LinkedIn banners and then click on images, and you'll see a ton of different images that you can find that help you out. But don't use a generic. Tell me who you are. I mean, you know, make it something that what it is you do. Now this slide came up before LinkedIn changed how many InMails you can have. You only get like 5 InMails if you have the free account. Only have like 5 InMails a month. So you got to be very careful who you send these out to. But if possible, you want to reach out to somebody. That's why I'd recommend, if you're in job search, if you see somebody you want to connect with, go down, look what groups they're part of, join one of those groups, and then you can use LinkedIn InMail to connect with anybody who's a group member. I told you about the donation that came in, and I thought, you know, from the donation I got from Rhode Island, I didn't know who the person was. I went on LinkedIn, found him. Well, he happened to be part of the CareerDFW group. So I couldn't he was a secondary connection, so I couldn't directly message him. But if I went to the Google group or went to the LinkedIn group for CareerDFW, I can message him directly. So that's a way that you can be able to message people you're trying to connect with, join the groups, join a group that they're in. You can also send a personal message on your cell phone. I think they've changed, from what I understand, they've kept changing it. On LinkedIn, there's a blue connect button. If it's a blue connect button, you can send a personal message. On LinkedIn, on a cell phone, a blue connect button doesn't allow you to send the personal message. You have to click on more to get to the extra stuff to send a personal invite. So on your cell phone, don't click the blue connect button. Complete your profile to all-star status. Now, when you get there, it's not going to say all-star, but the things that you have to have is a current location, current position, a location, an industry, summary, at least 5 skills, education, and a photo. The photo of yourself only, and don't take a photo with a busy background. Try to just get a plain background to use. That's really important because you want it to make easy for somebody just to see your face and see who you are. And you only have to have from shoulders up. You don't have to have, we don't need to see half your body or your whole body. And no significant others in the picture, no cat videos, just a picture of you. People say, well, I don't want my photo on there. I'll be discriminated against. Everybody here is discriminated at somebody. You've gone to a bar, you've gone to church, and you saw somebody and went, I want to talk to that person, okay? Or I don't want to talk to that person. So better to be voted out or to not get that phone call, and then to get that phone call, go in an interview and go, yeah, this was a mistake. So, get a decent looking photo. Current position. How do you do that if you're unemployed? If you're recently unemployed within 2 months, you can keep your old company listed for up to 2 months. But after that 2-month status, you want to create a throwaway job. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a job title of the job titles you're looking for. List 2 or 3 or 4 job titles. The name of the company, there are people have created open to work companies. So you can use one of those. I particularly like put your phone number and email address in for the company name. So when they come up, oh, there's a person's phone number. And then in the description, put down 3 or 4 bullet points of what it is you do. And the last bullet should be, how can I help your company? Let them know that you're looking for a job. Okay, so that gives you a current position when you're in job search. Yeah, well, we were just talking about the LinkedIn now has a thing called career breaks. And I would only use that if you're maybe taking care of an elder parent. I don't think I would say in there, I'm unemployed, or if I'm going back to school, if you're going back to school, I would use that one and going back for education, but I would not use that I'm unemployed in your career break. You want to, because I just don't like the terminology of how that works.
Okay, I have a question. This is Florence. So when you're creating that company so you would just use, as typically you would use if you were going to like if you were had been hired by someone, you use that same formatting principle in order to set up that, I guess, that placeholder position.
Yes, yes. And then when you get a job, you can delete it. You don't have to have it. Now, here in the room, somebody mentioned you may want to use those career breaks between jobs, between your past jobs, not your current career break. And I don't know if I would do that because I don't know how helpful that is to a recruiter. I mean, if you're off because of education or off because you're taking care of a parent, I could see that, but I wouldn't want to put in, oh, I was unemployed for this 6 month segment. I just, right, right. If you're taking care of a parent or raising kids or something, it may be worthwhile. All right. You want a professional headshot? I've sort of talked to that. Be careful about the background because you want to make sure that it's easily seen. I use LinkedIn all the time. When I get an email from somebody and I don't know who it is, I'll go look them up on LinkedIn because I'm good with faces. I remember everybody's face who's here, but I'm not going to remember your name. It just doesn't happen. Every week when Tracy Harris is on, I have to write her name down because I know I'm going to mention her when you talk about job openings. But if I don't write it down, I will not remember her name. But I recognize her face if I see her at Frisco Connect. The headline, the job title of the position you're looking for. The headline is the most searched field on LinkedIn. So underneath your picture, you got where your headline is. You want to put 2 or 3 job titles you're looking for. Make sure those job titles are actual job titles you'd find in your job description. You would not find project management in a job title. You're going to find they're looking for a project manager. I'm not looking for finance management. I'm looking for a finance manager. So make sure those job titles you put in your headline are what they're looking for. Open to work opportunities using the green banner. Use it. If you're unemployed, use it. Now, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when I first got on LinkedIn, you tend to not, that didn't exist back then, but there was a little bit more of a stigma about being unemployed. Nowadays, we've all been unemployed. And if we haven't been unemployed, we will be at some point because it will happen to each and everybody who's out there at some point, unless they own the company. So it's just use the banner, put that on there because less than 50% of recruiters pay for the recruiting package. That recruiting package is $1,000 a month. So if you only set it up so you're open to new opportunities is for recruiters only, you've crossed out half the recruiters that are out there. So let everybody know. And also, you never know, you may have a contact who happens to see your profile and said, oh, I didn't know Joe's looking for a job. We had a great time. We enjoyed working with Joe. Let me reach out to him. So you're letting your friends and neighbors know also. Christy, I see you have your hand up. Christy? All right, keep going here. The About section. This is probably the second most read category on LinkedIn. After the job titles is tell me about who you are, whatever you put in that. You've got 2,600 characters to use. I remember, and I don't know who it was that said, yeah, I've used 2,596 characters. They have maxed out that because you only see the first 3 lines. But if those first 3 lines, if you catch the person's attention and they go, yeah, I'm looking for somebody who's got this job title, I like what they said in the first couple lines, they'll open the see more category and they'll have everything in it. And be sure to include at the very end a call to action. How can I help your company? Call me. Put your phone number and email address down there. Make it easy because everybody can see the About Us section. So you don't have to be you don't have to be a first read connection for that. So make it easy for a recruiter to be a reach out to you. If you want, take a look at my about section, and you'll see the top 3 or 4 paragraphs talk about what my strength finders told me I am. And that's what I use to describe how I do things by using those strength finder skills. I list my strength finder skills, and I put a call to action. Feel free to reach out to me. Here's my phone number. It gets me when I get somebody on LinkedIn sends me a message. Can I get your phone number? And I just delete it because obviously they didn't look at my profile, because if they looked at my profile, it's right there on the banner. So it's not like I'm not telling them what it is. But and then at the bottom of my about section, I probably have 100 keywords that I've put that would match up with jobs I've had in the past. So it's just a whole section of keywords, because when a recruiter types in, when I've seen them type in a job, what do? They type in, I'm looking for a XYZ, and I put in 3 or 4 skills. That's what their first search is, and they see what LinkedIn will throw up, and and if they were ready to cut it down from 1 million down to thousands, they'll put in an address. I'm looking for somebody in the Seattle area, and they'll start cutting it down by putting in more information. So keywords and job title are the 2 things that are, when people are searching for you, how you're going to be found. Yeah. It's okay to put the question is, where should you put hashtags? Yes, when you post, you want to always use hashtags, and it's okay to push hashtags at the bottom of your about section. But I would put it at the very bottom, because it's of no useful information. It's just a keyword. It's just a searchable term. So bottom of the about section. All right, your experience section. Put your job title. If you have a new unusual job title like chief people person, you need to, in parentheses, director of HR or director of personnel management or something. Explain to people what the odd job title is. Companies like odd job titles. LinkedIn doesn't. You want to make sure you're using a LinkedIn accepted job title, because when recruiters start typing in the job title to search, they have to use one of the job titles that's already programmed into LinkedIn. So don't make up your own. A description of duties, and include keywords from your profession. The nice thing I like now about the experience section is, for every job, you can now list 5 or 10 skills that you had to have for that job. I think it's one of the smartest things that LinkedIn did. The skills section, I think, is a waste of time, because people are going to endorse you, but half the people who endorse me never worked for me, so well, more than half. So they don't know really what I do and how I do things. But if you're just careful about putting your skills for each job, I think it's a valuable asset for each job. You've got to have an education. If you don't have your degree, you can always put down the name of the university, expected graduation date, fall of 2025, or something like that. Or you've got, 66 hours towards my degree. Any award certificates, you never know, because a lot of those will be searchable terms. Yes. Question?
Two LinkedIn tidbits. One on the skills. I think the key to skills is like the top 3. that show up, and even try and get endorsements on those, because that does juice up your LinkedIn profile. Like Terry, the LinkedIn guy, he's always endorsements of skills. So I think there's something to that in terms of it juicing up your online presence. And second hack is there's a field in LinkedIn that has gender pronouns. If you're not using that field, you can put in think like 5 or 6 words, like a branding statement, and it appears right next to your name in like searches. So it's another way to kind of differentiate yourself. So.
Right. Also, I didn't mention this before, when you type in your name at the very top underneath the picture, if you have a hard to pronounce name, put it in there phonetically so people can figure out how to pronounce your name. I'm sure there's recruiters out there that will specifically pass people up because they don't want to have to figure out how to pronounce that name. So make it easy for somebody. Once again, just make it easy. Recommendations. You want to have at least 2 recommendations or 3 recommendations. I didn't update this one. This is from 2023, 2024, 2025. From the last couple of years, you want to have at least 2 or 3 recommendations from people. Privacy and settings, turn on, let recruiters know you're looking for opportunities. That's real important because that will show up in their search fields when after they put in the job title and skills they're looking for. Once they come up with a bunch of people, they can click on one button that will show me people that are open to new opportunities. So as long as you've turned that on, you'll show up when they do that search. Be sure to follow any company you're interested or applying to. Once again, recruiters have the button, just show me who's open to work. They can also click, show me who's following my company right now. So they're going to figure, well, these people already know what we do. I'm going to reach out to those people first before I reach out to people who are not following the company. You want to be active on LinkedIn. You need to post something once a week. You need to share a comment or like something. Try to like something 3 or 4 times a day because you want to show LinkedIn you're active. If you're active, you will show up higher in searches. LinkedIn won't tell anybody what their algorithm is, how they figure this out, but it's just been shown over time that if you're active, you're going to show up more likely in searches. Always reply to any email that comes to you, especially if it's from a recruiter. If it's from a sales thing, you don't have to respond to sales things. But please respond to any recruiter. Even if you're not interested, just reply back. Thanks for the lead, but I'm not interested in your position, because LinkedIn wants to know that you're responding to those that are recruiting. So every Tuesday we do a LinkedIn presentation. This coming Tuesday, Terry Sullivan will be with us this Tuesday. Even if it's the week of Thanksgiving, we are going to do a LinkedIn session on Tuesday. Also on the Career USA YouTube channel, if you click on the LinkedIn box or click down below where it says View Full Playlist, you can go back and watch any of we've got 181 videos when speakers have been talking about LinkedIn. You can go back and watch any of those at your convenience. And then for LinkedIn Tuesday, we have Locke Alderson, Ruth Lipsky, Terry Sullivan, and Kurt, who rotate through on a monthly basis to talk about LinkedIn, each from their own point of view. All right, I got to talk fast now because we're almost out of time. Interviewing. Be prepared for an interview. Go to the pit crew. Every bullet point on your resume should have a story. Write them down before you go. Have them written. If you want to, write them on index cards. At the very top of the index card, put what the bullet point is, and then down below, even on the side of it, you can put STAR, and then you write a line, here is the situation, here is the task, here is the action I took. What did you do? Not what did the team do? We want to know what you did in that project. And then what was the result? Or you can do raw and write down RAW and have that on the index cards and take them with you. And when you're at a stop sign, you can sit there and read through index cards instead of going through your phone. Keep answers to 45 to 60 seconds. On Zoom, 60 seconds max. They say in person, what's a pit crew name talking? Up to 90 or not? 90 okay? Okay. But shorter, better. And then after you answered them, would you like to know more details? Or I can give you more details if you'd like to. Because you want to make sure that you can get your questions and their questions answered. Be prepared for the following questions. Why do you want to work here? I know a recruiter, she asks this to everybody she talks to, and if they don't have a good answer, they don't go on to the next step. How much did you make at your last job? You can't answer that question for a lot of places now, or companies can't ask that, but you need to be prepared with what's your answer going to be, what salary range you're looking for. Why did you leave your last job? They all ask this one. Why'd you leave? Keep it short and to the point. Oops. Every bullet point on your resume should have a story. Write them down. Keep your answers to 45 to 60 seconds. I said that. Why am I going backwards here? Oh, I see. Why? Hitting the thing. And then the AI question is the other question now that I think you've got to be prepared to answer. How are you using AI? How have you used AI in past? Or ask the company, how is they using AI in the day-to-day operations of the company? This is Ron. Anybody who's been into the pit crew knows Ron's 10+1. You've got to have 10 questions ready to ask. And then the +1 is ask for the job. Be sure to find out what the next steps are going to be. Express even greater interest in the job at the end, referring back to, well, at the beginning you said you're looking for this, this, and this. I think I've shown you that I've got these skills. This would be helpful. And be sure to find out what the next step's going to be. And then ask to be advanced to the next step, or actually ask for the job. There was one guy in the pit crew I remember interviewing. He said, yeah, I went for the interview, and after the interview was over, I said, I saw that empty desk out there when I was walking in. Would that be my desk? If you think things were going well, ask. And the question to ask at the end, another question at the end of the interview is, how do I compare to the ideal candidate? Not to other candidates. You don't care about other candidates. How do I compare to your ideal candidate? Pit crew, every Wednesday. You heard Paul talk about that earlier, so I'll skip back. Next week, the pit crew is not meeting because of Thanksgiving. So on the Career USA YouTube channel, once again, there's 2 different interviewing tabs. The one in the upper on the first row is the 13-part workshop that Walt and Mark put together about interviewing. It's about 20 hours if you watch all 13 episodes, but you can go watch any one of those that you want. The one at the bottom are other speakers that we've had talk about interviewing. There's the 13 session videos, and there's 92 other sessions that have been recorded that you can go back and watch. On the 13-part workshop, I always like to talk about the first 5 sessions or what you do before the interview, before you even walk in. The next 5 sessions, what do you do during the interview? And the last 3 are just some advanced topics to go through. So if you need help with just video interviewing or just how to analyze a job description, you can just go back and watch any one of those that you want. All right, networking. I think I'm going to skip that section. So we won't talk about networking.
Yeah, there's a question online. Can you look at?
What's the copy of the question? I don't see it.
If you hold a leadership role in an association or volunteer organization, can you list that in your employment history so you don't have an employment gap?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
So Jeff, my question, I'm sorry I was on mute before I ask it quickly. I have done gig work while I've been searching. How do I list or talk about my gig work, either on my resume or on LinkedIn?
I would put down one job description that says you're doing consulting work, and then talk about 3 or 4 bullet points of the kind of consulting you've been doing. If you can mention companies, you mention companies. If you don't mention companies, just list some of the tasks that you've done and that you could do for other companies. And at the last bullet point, how can I help your company? So I have one job.
Thank you.
Okay. So on the networking, and this I think is a really valuable tool if you need motivation to how to network it, be able to get out. If you go to the Career USA YouTube channel, click on networking, you'll see there's a whole list of speakers. Here are all the different speakers that have talked about it. I mean, networking, we all know what it is. It's just talking to other people, but everybody talks about it in a different form and in a different fashion. So we've had a lot of great speakers. All their presentations are up there. You can go back and watch any one of them that you want. And I'm going to skip the bonus information since we're out of time. Oops. I think I got rid of. Five, oops. Get through these, sorry about that, and the follow-up. So next Friday, no meeting because of Thanksgiving. Everybody have a safe trip if you're traveling. They say 90% of people will be traveling more than 50 miles somewhere this week. So be very careful wherever you go. Watch out for the other guy. This video will get uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel. Next Tuesday for LinkedIn Tuesdays, Terry Sullivan will be with us to talk about how to tell your key contacts who you are, what you do, and how you can help. There will be no recording. So if you want to watch Terry next week, you will need to watch him live. No meeting next Friday. On December 5th, we'll do open forum. On the 12th, Christina Cella will be with us to talk about AI as your career co-pilot. So that should be an interesting presentation. Today, we're going to go to Jason's Deli. How many people think they're going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so whoever gets there first, put together a bunch of small tables for 12 of us. Everybody else have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.